All right, who do we have here? I was sending out some invites, seeing if anybody had wanted to try. Kojo, is this Kojo?
Yep, Kojo.
Hey, Kojo, let the folks know where you're calling in from and what's on your mind.
I'm from Jackson, Mississippi, and I'm reading what is it? NativeBlack.com.
NativeBlackAncestry.com.
Native Black Ancestry. You mean from Africa?
Nope. If it was Native African Ancestry, then the website would be called NativeAfricanAncestry.com. Right?
Oh, you're talking like First Nation.
No, I don't really use the term First Nation. That's typically something that Asiatic natives in Canada like to use. In North
Okay.
America, we typically use the term Indigenous, Aboriginal, Native American, American Indian. But when you hear First Nations, that's typically referring to folks up in Canada.
Are you referring to Afro Native?
Nope. If I was referring to Afro Native, I would use the term Afro Native, right? Words matter.
All right. Since we got that clarified,
Yeah.
now
It
what's
sounds
the
like
thing of a black?
you may
Now
have
what's the
some
thing of a black native?
well, hold on. It sounds like you may have some deeper questions. So hold on just a second. I put you on mute for just a moment. I have somebody else trying to call in. I'm just going to let them introduce themselves real quick, and then I'm going to get right back to your questions. Let's just bring everybody up on the panel. We've also got Redskins Bamanders. Let the folks know where you're calling in from. What's on your mind?
Calling from Prince George's County, Maryland. Just letting you know I'm loving your content. I've never enjoyed it live as much as this. This is awesome.
Hey, I appreciate it, brother. Thanks for tuning in. Like I said earlier, I'm just trying to, kill a couple birds with one stone. I'm knocking out some research, preparing for some broadcasts later this evening, but I figured I'd go live at the same time, chop it up with the people. So thanks for joining. I'm going to let the other brother on the panel finish answering his questions, and then I'll come right back to you and see what else you have for us.
Yes, sir.
All right. Appreciate you. Back to Kojo. Kojo, you had some more questions, right?
Yeah, this is just a website.
I mean, I'm not sure what you mean by just a website. A website is a website. But when you say just a website, it's as if you're alluding to a website being more than a website.
Yes, usually when I see Ancestry.com, that got something to do with DNA.
Well, yes, Ancestry.com sells DNA testing kits, but clearly there's a big difference between Ancestry.com and my website, NativeBlackAncestry.com. Two different websites.
Okay. Yeah, we also got an African ancestry site, so I'm just trying to get it all together. So
Yep.
we,
There's also another
we
DNA testing company called AfricanAncestry.com, where Rick Kittle sells fraudulent $800 DNA testing kits and gives you a t-shirt and a couple certificates saying that you're from an African tribe. You are correct. That's AfricanAncestry.com.
wow, you just Dr. Kittles like that.
I'm not sure what you mean by this. I said that his DNA
I mean,
tests are fraudulent. That
oh, you
is a
said
claim. Wait,
fraudulent.
hold on, sir. Do not
I
interrupt
heard
me
you.
on my platform. That's disrespectful. For the folks that are just now tuning in, I'm reiterating my sentiment on Rick Kittles. I said that he peddles fraudulent DNA testing kits. And if you want to know why I proclaim they're fraudulent, or if you haven't looked into the history of his testing kits and need to be enlightened, then let me know. But it sounds like you're just generally in shock that I don't view Rick Kittles in some high regard, right?
Okay, $800. That's not true. And what's going on with the fraudulent part? I mean,
Oh, time out, sir. We cannot allow you to promote misinformation on my platform. You just said $800. That's not true. Now, since I'm live on YouTube and TikTok, I can't really share my screen like I want to, but I can at least pull up my phone and hold it to the camera. So let me go to AfricanAncestry.com. Since he says I'm lying about the $800 DNA testing kits. Okay. I've just logged to AfricanAncestry.com. I'm going to go to products. Actually, I'm going to go to shop test because the $800 one, I believe it was a test of some sort. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So again, Hopefully you guys can see my screen right here. This is AfricanAncestry.com. Clearly says $800. I think he's running a special right now. I guess normally it's $825, and right now he has it on sale for $725. So yeah, no, sir, no lies told. This is a test, and you get a T-shirt and you get certificates saying that you're a part of some African tribe for normally $828. Currently on sale for $739. And if anybody wants to look for themselves, all they have to do is go to AfricanAncestry.com and go to the product section. But sir, why did you just call me a liar when clearly I'm telling the truth?
You gonna let me answer and not mute me again? I see
I'll
your
mute you whenever I see fit.
Well, then, we got nothing to talk about.
Bye. I don't know why you joined the panel. Kick rocks, buddy. Back to Redskin. Redskin, what do you think about, oh boy? I mean, as soon as I said Rick Kittles is selling fraudulent DNA tests, he said, I can't believe you just said that about Dr. Rick Kittles. And then I mentioned the $800 DNA test, and he said, no, that's a lie. He's not selling $800. I mean, I guess technically the $800 test is on sale right now for $725, but what do you think, Redskin?
I think some people can't grasp the concept because I remember going to family reunions in the 80s and 90s, and my whole family reunion looked like the man on the Redskins logo. So, there are some people out there, they go to family reunion and they see afros and the nappy hair and they think everybody's like that. I thought everybody had Indian ancestry. I just knew everybody thought they had an Indian ancestry too, but I guess it's very family specific and it's very prevalent in mine.
Hey, maybe the last dude knows the name of his African ancestors that he's claiming he descends from, or maybe he's gone to Africa to connect with the local villages people were trafficked from, or maybe he's done a DNA test and that DNA test gave him results of blood relatives of his in Africa, but I doubt he has any of the above. Yet he wants to call in and try to challenge me, and he doesn't even know his guru Rick is selling $800 DNA testing kits for a t-shirt and some certificates. Okay. Let's talk about it. Alexander, you should definitely click the link and call in. Alexander is making the claim that I have been exposed. So guys, Alexander is going to call in, I'm sure, and he's going to let us know how I've been exposed and why he's so surprised that he sees me live right now. And shout out to Lord Zod. Lord Zod said, he was talking about that last caller. He said, what did he say? He said he embarrassed the whole state of Mississippi or some shit. Shout out to Lord Zod. Oh, Jesus. The whole state of Mississippi has to hold that L. But yeah, Redskin, you have a 4. What else was on your mind? I mean, it seemed like it was just an old head that was just, he really believed the hype of the 80s, the Pan-African stuff. He's been rocking daishikis and onks every February, and he just can't rid himself of that time when he was, 9 years old and his mama had him stay up late to watch Roots, and, he's a lost cause.
Yeah, man, I got nothing to add. Like I said, the music, the background, the pictures, your delivery, it's all good. It's the first thing that actually caught my attention. So I just, every time I hear the subject, I think back to my grandma, and so it's I just love it.
Nice. Well, I gotta ask you, is this your first time catching one of my live streams?
Yes, it is.
Oh yeah, no, this is nothing. You got to go to YouTube, go to Mike TV. This is like me just bullshitting, doing some research live at the same time. Normally, I got a whole presentation. I'm sharing my screen. We going through documents, sources, German churches, Spanish conquistadors from the 1500s. Like, we go super deep with the receipts. Right now, I'm not sharing my screen or going through the receipts because I'm just like casually doing research in the back end. So, if you're impressed with this, like, nah, brother, go to Mike TV and and go check out some of the live streams I just did last week.
Will do. I appreciate it. I'm gonna look out for you.
Thanks for calling in. Yeah, don't hesitate to click that button in the future. I'm gonna shoot out some more invites, see if anybody else wants to call in. Hopefully we got some detractors, some naysayers. I'm trying to see where you guys are coming from. Where are the Pan Goofies at? Oh, I'm sorry, Pan Africans. Where are the Pan Africans? How about this? Can a Pan African call in and I'll show you mine and you show me yours? I'll show you my indigenous ancestors and you show me your African ancestors. Does anybody want to do that? Can anybody do that? I'm telling you, I'll show you mine, then you show me yours. I'll show you what tribe I'm a part of, what American Indian tribe I'm a part of, and then you show me what African tribe you're a part of. You know, it's fair. It's balanced, right? I don't think a single Pan African is going to be able to call in and do that, though. I can pull up my family tree, show you the whole lineage back into the 16 or 1500s in some cases. But I don't think a Pan Goofy can call in and share their family tree and show us their African ancestor and the name of the boat that they got shipped on and the port that the boat landed. And yeah, y'all don't know a damn thing about your own family tree, but y'all got so much to say about us. If I wanted to rhyme that, I would say you have so much to say about me, but it's a community thing. This ain't about me. It's about the community. Let's talk about it. But yeah, I'm gonna shoot out some more invites, see if anybody else wants to call in, chop it up, and then I'm gonna get back to sending out these recordings and doing these family trees in the back end. What time is it? I gotta go live in a couple hours. Yeah, never enough hours in the day, I tell you. Boy, I tell you. And yeah, all you folks on TikTok who are new to me, just now catching the live for the first time, go to nativeblack.ancestry.com. I built out a digital archive with over 1,000 documents at this point, all citing our indigeneity. And I also have a YouTube channel called Mike TV where you can catch a lot of my content. So definitely check it out. All right, and we got Alexander. Alexander, let the folks know where you're calling in from and what's on your mind. Alexander, are you there? Alexander going once.
Can I get the big screen? Can I get the big screen? Can I get the big screen?
What was that?
Can I get the big screen? Can you hear me, y'all?
Now we can. At first we didn't, and I'm not sure if you heard me, but I asked you where you're calling in. Okay, Jesus. There's a connection issue, or you're just not listening.
Hello.
Where are you calling in from, and what's on your mind? All right, guys. This guy's slow. I don't know what the issue is. Am I not giving him a fair shake? I mean, I literally start off the same with everybody. Where are you calling in from? What's on your mind? And he can't pass the first level.
What's going on, Mike?
Tyrone, show him how it's done. Where are you calling in from? What's on your mind?
This is Tyrone Leung. I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina. That Alexander cat, that's Joe the Explainer. He's a troll. He's from OHF channel trying to come over here and harass.
You said it's Joe who? You said Dora the Explorer, Joe the Explorer, what?
Joe the educator. I call him Old Black Joe, but he's a raccoon from over there at OHF panel. He wants to come over in the Aboriginal spaces and try and dictate who we are by claiming we some random West Central African tribes and stuff like that. But
well, see, the thing is, that's exactly what I was hoping for. That's the exact type of people I wanted to call in and challenge me today. But the unfortunate part was he couldn't even pass go. I mean,
he can come back up.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Wait, hold on. Correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't it seem like he was purposefully ignoring my questions and at the same time demanding to be brought up on a big screen?
Yeah, he was.
Like, where they do that at? Where you calling in from? What's on your mind? Fuck what you're talking about, Mike. Bring me up on the big screen. Who the fuck are you?
You think this is Pumpkin Baby's platform or OHF's platform?
Again, naming another person I've never heard of a damn Pumpkin Baby. So it's a lot of little troll channels out here, I guess.
I wiped the floor with that fool over on Pumpkin Baby's channel with Jack E. Forbes. He kept trying to say that he debunked him, but he never showed up any sources.
Shout out to Jack D. Forbes. Rest in peace. I didn't even realize until after I started studying his research that he passed away several years ago. So
back in 2011.
Shout out to Jack D. Forbes. He's one of our more Eurasian phenotype American Indians that still stands on business and tells us true history of Black Indigenous people. So shout out to an ally like Jack D. Forbes. Oh man, hold on. Hey Tyrone, I got the Alexander guy trying to call it again. You think we should give him a second chance or no?
Yeah, give him a second chance so he can get clowned.
All right. Hey, you're only coming back because Tyrone says to give you mercy, okay? Let's see what he has for us. Alexander, let's try this again.
Thing about that.
Let's try this again, Alexander. Where are you calling in from and what's on your mind? I don't know, guys. He's just He's just
Hold
stuck
on,
there.
let me get in. I'm in the country. Hold on,
sir. What's your name?
I'm at work.
Calling from?
Give me a second.
If you at work, then why are you trying to interrupt my show, making demands, got some green screen thing on? I mean, what's going on with you?
You should be focusing on getting that job done rather than arguing with people online.
Hey, this is the sad part about it. He's at work, and I'm at work.
Can y'all hear me now? I'm
The
at
only
work.
difference
We
is
can hear you.
Can y'all hear me now?
And the hyena knocked over his router box.
He has such technical
Hold on, give me a
issues.
second.
I'm gonna drop him down and I'm gonna allow him to come back because I don't know what's going on with boys' mic setup and stuff. But as I was saying, the crazy part is he's at work and I'm at work, but he's working a 9 to 5 for some European, calling in on his lunch break to try to challenge us on our heritage, and my literal profession is educating my community on their indigeneity. Hey, maybe if we were really Pan-Africans like he probably thinks, maybe you would be able to be a successful content creator and spread that gospel and have people call into you, or maybe you can even build a website and host consultations like I do. But instead of doing like me and showing people how to get in touch with their American Indian history, you can show people how to get in touch with their African roots and learn what African tribe they come from. And that could be your job. But oh, wait, you can't make a living doing that because there's not a market for that. There was a market for that in the 80s. There was a market for that in the 90s. Hey, early 2000s even. But now it's a new day. It's a new dawn. Ain't nobody trying to go with that pan-goofy rhetoric no more. That's why these pan-goofies got to call into me on their lunch break. Mans is over there in the warehouse driving the forklift and shit, trying to call in at the same, you're not really Indian, Mike. You're not really Indian. Okay. Don't make me send this clip to HR. I'm just teasing. Tyrone, what's on your mind, brother?
Well, yeah, bro. Back to what I was talking about, Jack D. Forbes. Yeah, he put out great information about the indigenous paradigm. One of his students, Erica Coleman, that put out The Blood That Stays Pure, is a great book as well to help Black Americans reconnect to their indigenous roots. And he put out great information for not only Native American studies, but to help Black American studies as well, and even Hispanic American studies. So for this clown to sit up here to say that he been debunked just because he briefly mentions Leo Wiener or Ivan Van Sertima or J.
Well, and that's the thing. I'm down to hear about why he thinks Jack D. Forbes isn't a valid source and blah, blah, blah. But it's like he can't even pass go. Like, we can't even get a, where are you calling in from and what's on your mind? I mean, I'm in my car. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Jack D. Forbes is a fraud. All right.
Yeah, he want to dominate people's panels.
I think he's backstage again. Hold on. I think he's backstage again. You said he does what, Tyrone? He tries to dominate people's panel?
Yeah, he's a moderator over there on Pumpkin Babies channel, so he likes
Hey. Let's give him a fair warning. If he is accustomed to dominating people's channel, he's in for a rude awakening. Nobody runs their platform like me. Good luck trying to dominate this dictator, okay? Come on. Because I'll tell you straight up, this is a dictatorship. It's not a democracy. When you call into my show, you follow the rules. You get muted when I don't want to hear you no more, and you get kicked if I don't feel like you're adding value. But I guess if somebody's used to just strong arming people's platforms, and hey, that explains why he came up here like that. Empress, since you've been so active in the YouTube chat, I'm going to give you the luxury of choice, Empress. Do you think we should let him up for a third time? Do you think we should extend yet another olive branch? I mean, I swear, if I bring him up again, it'll be like my 7th or 8th time asking him, where are you calling in from and what's on your mind? Jesus. Nuna says, may I join, big bro? Yeah, anybody can join. Just go ahead and click to request. Empress, let me know if you think that we should give Alexander the yay or nay off with his head, or let him live another day. And while we wait for Empress's feedback, let's bring up Nuna Daniji. Nuna, let the people know where you're calling in from and what's on your mind.
Long Island, New York, Amityville, Wyandanch. Shout out to the Amityville Warriors out there. And I appreciate Mike TV. You know, I discovered this brother over there on Donald Glover's channel. You know, shout out to that whole movement over there. That boy Mike is no joke, man. We behind you, family. Continue to do what you're doing. You got an army, you got a family, you got a whole lineage behind you. and we got your back, brother. Continue to drop that knowledge.
I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate it. And yeah, it's crazy how when an American Indian joins my panel and I say, where you calling in from? What's on your mind? I mean, it's so easy for them to answer and engage in conversation, but it's something about them Pan-Africans. I don't know what it is. Something about them
sir. You're doing
Pan-Africans.
groundbreaking work, brother. You're doing groundbreaking work, family. And I mean, the work that you're doing is so monumental. And I'm so happy, brother. You're all over the web right now. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. You're everywhere, family. And I'm pushing for you to be the greatest of all time, family. Continue to do your great works, Mike.
Yeah, I appreciate that, brother. I really appreciate that. And yeah, you you putting a whole lot on my shoulders that I try not to think about. Okay, I just pump out the content, I just do the research, and I didn't even realize until recently that, like you said, there's actually a lot of people on Facebook and Instagram and stuff sharing the work. And I'll consult with new clients, and I'll ask them, like, the first thing I ask them in the consultation is like, how did you discover my content? What motivated you to look into your family's heritage? And people these days have been like, oh, I found your content in like a Facebook group, or I found it on some Clubhouse thing. And I'm like, I'm not even on Facebook. So shout out to everybody who's been spreading the word, who's been spreading my content. I really appreciate it, everybody.
Yes, sir.
And Nuna, I'm not sure if you want to stay on the panel and rock out with us, but if you do, I think Empress says that I should be nice and let the Pan Goofy join again. So, I don't know. What do you think, Nuna? Give me some feedback.
Man. I love to see you work, man. You be cooking these frauds, man. You definitely laying down groundwork. The ancestors is behind you, and the work that you're doing is groundbreaking. Like I said, they not messing with you, family. We got your back on all four corners of the planet. We got you, family. Continue to do what you're doing.
Hey, I appreciate you, brother. And you know what? We've got some Africans on the panel now. Let's shout out to our resident African, Alexander. Alexander, let's try this again. Unmute yourself. Let us know where you're calling in from and what's on your mind.
Calling from Mississippi. Do I sound good now?
Yeah, you sound better. What's on your mind?
All right. So first, Tyrone, while you're on the panel line, man, you went through Jack D. Ford's. I read his books. He talked about
read shit in that book.
Can I talk? I thought you said
various parts in the book, and you checked.
But I'm the one that dominate the
introduction.
But I'm the one that dominate the panel. But you over talking me. You see how you already starting off lying? But I'm the one that dominate.
If I'm lying, I got the recording.
Can I finish my? So can I?
All right, guys. Hold on. Time out.
He's muting me. So I'll tell you what.
I'm muting both of you. I'm muting both of you so that I can speak. That's the way it works. And if you unmute yourself after I mute you, then you can just go. But anyways, Tyrone, allow him to speak. I know that he addressed you and you responded to his comments. He aimed straight at you. But go ahead and try to just refrain from commenting until he lets us know that he's finished with his whole intro. Go ahead, Alexander.
All right. So like I said before, you went through Jack D. Ford's. And you crashed out because I made you read the book to find the part where he said that black people wasn't indigenous to America. Because I told you he was talking about admixtures. He talked about admixtures through all his books, right? He talked about his people, the indigenous people of America. He wasn't talking about black people. He never claimed black people wasn't indigenous to America. He talked about admixtures throughout his books. I read his books. Because I used to think maybe there was a possibility, since he said this, I read his books. But he was talking about admixtures, right? Then you said that's a lie. I'm gonna read it to you. Then when we start reading the book together, you couldn't find it, and to the point you start crashing out, right? Then on top of that, after that was over with, you dropped off the panel and you chased me to multiple lies, crashing out, calling me all kinds of names because you was upset that you couldn't find what you were looking for. Right or wrong?
Go ahead, Tyrone. I guess he wants you to respond now.
Context of this pseudo, but one, he got beat up by me when he was trying to save Rail from the fours on Gish Gallop, trying to claim this painting that was created in the late 1500s, saying that this is a representation of what Native Americans are, with the depiction of Carolina Indians, right? But I asked Rail from the four, what happened in the year 1526 that was created way before that painting that was created in 1580s or 1590s, right? And I brought up 1526, right? The San Miguel Guadalupe voyage. And they literally stated that Indians were slaves in that website. And this dude was sitting over here crashing out over them talking about Indians being slaves and not his African descent, Gish Gallop, where he was trying to go. And I showed my sources, and he still was crashing out over that. So the conversation went over into Jack D. Forbes, which he got beat up on. I literally stated that the Negro is unquestionably Indian. I read that from chapter 3 and also read chapter 7. This clown kept trying to say, oh, he's been debunked. He's not a real source. He's been debunked by peer-reviewed scholars, right? And I literally read the book for this moron, and he kept trying to go all over the place, trying to point me to chapter 1, saying he got debunked based off of him briefly mentioning Jack D. Forbes, briefly mentioning Ivan Van Sertima, Leo Weiner, and what's his name? J.A. Rogers. And this clown literally kept trying to mute me, boot me off the stage while I was talking because he didn't want to hear what I had to say, and he kept trying to move the goalposts and say, oh, it doesn't say any Aboriginal stuff in here. It says admixture. No crap, Sherlock, because his position ain't about pre-Columbian information. It's about colonial information. That's where you're trying to gish gallop around the subject. So I followed him up by going over there. I didn't even know this fool was over there on OHF's panel, but somebody requested me to go on his panel and talk to them because he posted up a pseudo prompt talking about where were Indians called Negroes before 1550. And we literally pulled up the book of Jack D. Forbes. He said, oh, you can't use Jack D. Forbes because he's pseudo. Okay, bet. I asked this fool repeatedly.
Hey, Mike TV.
No, don't crash out now.
Because you off topic now. Can we get back on me and you?
This is on the same day that you said that you defeated me, right?
You talking about me and you.
No,
now you can talk about Rail, OHL.
Don't run.
Who's running?
Following you and
stick to the subject.
I'm not changing nothing. So
yes,
mute up. I didn't blurt out over you while you was talking.
Yeah,
I didn't know because I'm catching you in your lie.
No, you ain't catching me in my lie.
You shut up and mute your mic, please. I'm talking. Thank you. So when I finally went over there to OHF panel with that bias prompt that he made, trying to use a Tarahumara Indian and saying this is the Negro that they're talking about, and say, oh, where were Indians called Negro before that year of 1550? Like he wanted to make a statement and try and discredit Jack D. Forbes, right? And Jack D. Forbes literally states the years when Negro was used on Indians prior to 1550, within 1530, 1520 time frame, arguing about whether to call them white, olive skin complexion, or black as devils on the river Styx. And he tried to say, oh, no, you can't use Jack D. Forbes because he's pseudo, he a cult book. And I heard this same statement from Teaching on the Move, from Gummy Slavy. They follow me.
All right, hold on.
Darvin panel.
Time out now, guys. Time out. Everybody stay on mute for just a moment. So for anybody who's just now tuning in, everybody means you too, Alexander. Everybody stay on mute. So for everybody who's just now tuning in, what's going on is Alexander originally wanted to call in to challenge me. It took him a few times to get the mic together. Now that the audio's working, instead of challenging me, he chose to challenge one of my panel members, Tyrone, and he challenged him on using Jack D. Forbes, an American Indian man, as a source to support the notion that there were Black Indigenous people, whether pre-Columbian or post-Columbian. We're going to get to that in just a moment. But essentially, and I've been taking notes, Alexander was making the claim that Jack D. Forbes was actually not talking about Black Americans. He was talking about his people. So, Alexander, maybe you can start by educating us on who are you referring to when you say his people? Who do you think Jack D. Forbes's people are?
The indigenous people that got here prior to colonization. When we talking about ancient migrations, when we're talking about the Hobbit groups or who it identified with, I'm talking about those people. Now, when we're talking about Jack D. Forbes,
time out. I'm going to mute you for just a moment because I need your answer to be more concise. When I mute you, you stay on mute. You don't unmute yourself, or you can just leave. I'm trying to speak.
Now you're trying to control it.
That's it. Alexander, hold your tongue. Hold your tongue. Hold your tongue. I'm not trying to control a narrative. I'm trying to get a more concise answer from you. Can you name a read? All right, since you can't hold your tongue, I'm just gonna have to put you backstage while I speak. No, you can shut the fuck up when I'm talking, you bitch-made, pan-goofy, belligerent, asinine asshole. Maybe if you started your own channel and had people wanting to call in and talk to you, then you can control your show. But you came to talk to Mike TV, bitch boy, so follow the rules. Anyways, not trying to control a narrative, oh insecure ass nigga. I'm trying to get you to give us a more concise answer. I asked you, who are Jack D. Forbes' people? And you started babbling like a fucking baboon. Everybody's confused right now. Mike just asked you, who are Jack D. Forbes' people? And you're just rambling like an imbecile. So when I bring you back up, answer the question more concise. Give us a region. Where in America do you think Jack D. Forbes people from? Matter of fact, since Jack D. Forbes is an American Indian, maybe you can name the fucking tribe that you're saying are Jack D. Forbes' people. You see how that works? But guys, I'm just trying to control a narrative. Or maybe I'm trying to get you to give us an answer that my 100+ people watching can actually understand. So let's bring him back up and see if he can actually give us an answer that makes sense. Who are you referring to when you mention Jack D. Forbes' people? Go ahead.
Every groups, they have the haplogroups A, B, C, D, and X. All the indigenous haplogroups that represent those people of the Americas that migrated here first. So if you got any proof of that.
And now I'm going to drop you so I can speak, and then I'll bring you back up. Since normally when I mute you so I can speak, you keep unmuting yourself. So again, we're not understanding what the fuck you're talking about. Jack D. Forbes is one man that's a part of one tribe, and you're claiming that Jack D. Forbes' people are all American Indians in the Western Hemisphere. Everybody with this haplogroup or that haplogroup is Jack D. Forbes' people. You gotta narrow it down, Playboy. You gotta narrow it down. If somebody asks who my people are, I'm gonna refer to the folks that descend from the Mississippian mound builders, the Eastern woodland people, the tribes of the Southeast, Central America, Caribbean, South America. That's my people. I'm not going to claim every single Native American community over here with the haplogroup. Da, da, da. No. Narrow it down. Jesus. Try again. Who are Jack D. Forbes' people? And be more specific. Don't talk haplogroups. Talk regions or talk tribes. You need to name a tribe or you need to name a region of the Americas. Jack D. Forbes never claimed that all people of the Americas are his people. So stop it. Stop it. He's turning in his grave right now. Alexander, name a region or name a tribe.
Every single tribe in the Americas have those haplogroups. You can spin it however you want. You can control the narrative. Every single
Big
haplogroup
Kiddo said you
belongs
can't
to them.
hold
So
on,
show me haplogroups.
Mike, hold on, mute him.
Oh, Tyro, I'm gonna give him one more chance. I gave him very specific directions and he still can't understand. Alexander, when I bring you up, you have to name a tribe or you have to name a region. You can't just say Jack D. Forbes' people was all the indigenous people of America. That's not the way it works. Jack D. Forbes was a member of a tribe. And you know so much about Jack D. Forbes, don't make me Google it. Don't make me Google what tribe he was a part of. You should be able to just tell us, since you're the resident expert on Jack D. Forbes and you know that he was really talking about this and that and Tyrone's really wrong. Well, I'm not even going to let him get the region cop out. Alexander, name the tribe. When you come back, name the tribe that Jack D. Forbes was a part of before his passing. That's what you're tasked to do. What is the tribe? As a matter of fact, he probably doesn't know. He probably has to Google it. So let's give him 20 seconds to Google it real quick, okay? He's going to do the heavy lifting for us. Let's give him 20 seconds. Go ahead. Don't use Bing. Don't use Firefox. Use Google, okay? ChatGPT even. But just let us know what is the name of Jack D. Forbes' tribe. Jesus, it was like 10 minutes to even get him to answer the first couple questions, and now we can't get him to list a tribe, huh, guys? Let me see what the chat's talking about while we see if he can get a tribe for us. Let's see. Amor says, wait, haplogroups? Natives don't use DNA for blood quantum. Exactly. And most Native Americans are vehemently opposed to DNA, so I have no idea why he's trying to claim that Jack D. Forbes' people were all people with a certain haplogroup when Native Americans don't even do DNA tests. All right. Alexander, what tribe? Hold on, Tyrone. Alexander, what tribe was Jack D. Forbes a part of?
Yeah, that's a lie. Navajo also got genetic tests that show that they go back 18,000 years. You
what
can look that
tribe
up, guys.
Jack
So
D.
let's deal with
Forbes
haplogroups. Look up.
What tribe is Jack D. Forbes a part of? Or was he a part of?
Hey, viewers, look up all the haplogroups of the Indigenous of America.
Dude,
What tribe was Jack D. Forbes a part of?
Look up all the haplogroups.
Okay, guys. All right, Tyler, it's cool. It's cool. Clearly, mans must be special needs, and I don't want to start bashing a member of the special needs community. That's not a good look for me. I'm a public figure, okay? So let's just let him stay in the chat. I mean, he couldn't even tell us that. I'll look it up real quick. I'm sure people are wondering. Jack D. Forbes, what tribe was he a part of? These Pan-Africans claim to be experts on our lineage, on our heritage. They claim to know all there is about Jack D. Forbes and what he meant when he said this and when he said that, but they can't even tell us the tribe he was a part of. All right, I found it, guys. He was a part of the Delaware Lenape, and he also has Powhatan heritage. Oh, no, and actually, no. Time out. He identified, Jack D. Forbes identified as Powhatan Lenape and Delaware Lenape, but Jack D. Forbes was actually never enrolled in any tribe. Interesting. But guess what, guys? We would never know that if we're waiting on Alexander to give us that info, right? So again, when he's trying to say that Jack D. Forbes said this and Jack D. Forbes said that, and all of the American Indians are Jack D. Forbes' people, if Jack D. Forbes really felt that all American Indians are his people, then why didn't he want to be a part of the tribe that his ancestors were a part of? Oh, wait, that's crazy. And then the real asinine part is Alexander was up here trying to claim that Jack D. Forbes exclusively spoke about Africans that were admixed with American Indians. And that's false. Just like Tyrone said earlier, Jack D. Forbes' historical take, his historical focus was on post-colonialism. So he really focused on a lot of the Africans that mix with the natives. But Jack D. Forbes is quoted numerous times in his books talking about Black indigenous communities that were here before Columbus with no African admixture. Matter of fact, guys, I got several quotes right here. You see what real scholarship looks like? First quote, Native American descendants had been legally defined as mulattoes in Virginia in 1705 without having any African ancestry. So if you actually want to know something that Jack D. Forbes believed or quoted or wrote in his book, he says, quote, Native American descendants had been legally defined as mulattoes in Virginia in 1705 without having any African ancestry. So wait a minute, guys, since 1700s, American Indians are reclassified as mulatto. And if any of you have done your family genealogy, you know you've seen those ancestors of yours in the census as mulatto. And guess what? As time rolls on, they get reclassified to colored and Negro and Black and African American. Oh, so I guess Jack D. Forbes is admitting to the racial reclassification and the melanated indigenous people here with no African ancestry. Second quote, the term Negro has been applied to Native Americans. Time out right there. I'm not even going to finish the quote. Jack D. Forbes already here is saying in this first half of this quote, the term Negro has been applied to Native Americans. So again, I don't know what Alexander was up here talking about. Now let me finish the quote. The term Negro has been applied to Native Americans, and Black has been used for all of the above and for non-whites in general. So here we go yet again with Jack D. Forbes saying that Black is a term of reclassification for Native Americans. Native Americans have been relabeled to Negro, to Black, to mulatto. And this is right out of Jack D. Forbes' mouth. These are quotes. Third quote. And in this quote, to give you more context, he's talking about the Nottoway tribe in Virginia. Quote, the scholars do not appear to have had any African ancestry, but they are regarded nonetheless as mulattoes. Yet another Jack D. Forbes quote saying that there's indigenous people with no African admixture being reclassified to mulattoes. All right. I don't know what that Pan Goofy was talking about, though. Fourth quote. American ancestry were frequently classified as mulattoes with or without mixture with Africans. Let's keep it going. Fifth quote. The above evidence shows that in 1772, 1777, and 1785, the term mulatto was explicitly used for persons of American Ancestry. All right. And the sad part is, I thought Alexander wanted to come up here and challenge me. I thought he had some gripe, something to get off his chest with Mike, but he came up here challenging Tyrone on Jack D. Forbes's take, and he's wrong. And he couldn't even tell us what tribe Jack D. Forbes was. Maybe it's because he didn't even know that Jack D. Forbes wasn't a member of any tribe. All right. Tyrone, what do you think about this?
Yeah, the dude is straight clown made. Like, and here's what killed him. Well, unalived him in the source. Like in the introduction, he kept trying to want me to go to the introduction, but the introduction doesn't even agree with his point. So I'm gonna read from page 1 to 2, and I'm gonna stop there. So it says thousands of volumes have been written about the historical and social relations existing between Europeans and Native peoples of the Americas, and between Europeans, Africans, and the relations between Native Americans and African. No, matter of fact, let me go to page 1 because it literally states that they were interfusing culture with each other in Jack D. Ford's book, which he wanted to skip over. I'm gonna read that.
And hold on, Alexander is still in my chat begging to be let back up. Alexander, I see no reason to bring you back. You can't answer simple questions. My audience is trying to learn new things, and you can't answer simple questions. I don't see any reason to bring you back.
He kept talking about Navajo.
You don't even have high enough IQ to answer specific questions so that we can have a civilized conversation. If you were able to do that, then damn, we'd be able to learn what issue you got with me. Because again, I thought this whole thing was about proving me wrong about something. But Tyrone, he's really in love with you. You and Jack D. Forbes, he just can't get enough of. But go ahead and continue, Tyrone.
Oh, he obsessed with you too because he comes from that same group with Black First, OHF, and all them teaching. They try and dox you, saying that you don't have any real Fed recognition, and try to talk mess about your card and stuff like that. So that's where he comes from.
All right.
But yeah, to continue going to the
motherfuckers obsessed with my heritage. Okay, what's new?
Mad that you got Fed recognition in your money. They ain't got no money.
Hey, it's crazy too because my aunt just came back from an event with the tribe and she gave me a whole bunch of goodies from the tribe too. Hold on, I got me a little coaster with the tribal seal. Woo! Shout out to my tribe, the Muskogee Creek Nation. I don't show up to events. I don't fuck with the chief. They doing some fuck shit with the freedmen right now. I'm actually working to change things from within. If you know, you know. I also got this nice little leather thing right here, courtesy of the tribe. Okay. I appreciate. Matter of fact, this was pretty cool. I especially told her to bring back some historical documentation, any maps or anything, and she was able to give me a nice little folder with some nice maps here. This map right here is our current territory, our current reservation. I know when you hear about Native Americans, you hear about them cracked out on the res and this and that. I was surprised to find out that my tribe is not a part of that demographic. My tribe's reservation includes the entire city of Okmulgee, including the entire city of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and several other cities as well. So if you go to visit Tulsa, Oklahoma, you're on my tribe's reservation, technically speaking. I believe we lease the property to the city of Tulsa or something like that.
Matter of fact, I went out there.
This right here is another nice one I was able to get. Look, hold on real quick. This is a county map. Here we go. Got a little county map. And in classic sellout fashion, one of the counties is named McIntosh County. Who was McIntosh? William McIntosh was the half-breed Scottish Creek Indian sellout that signed the treaty that resulted in my tribe walking the Trail of Tears. And because he sold this out and did that, the tribe took him out and burned down his plantation. And guess what? He wasn't the only one. Look it up. Whenever you hear about Indians signing treaties that resulted in their tribe walking the Trail of Tears, every single one of them, I don't care if it was Creek, Choctaw, Seminole, Chickasaw, Cherokee, every single one of those chiefs was a half-breed with a Scottish father and an Indian mother. Look it up.
I got this book recently from out there in Muskogee Nation in Oklahoma because my sister lives out there in Arkansas, right there next to Bill.
Let me see. I got you on the big screen now. Okay, the Dolls Rolls of the Citizens and Freedmen of 5 Shalom. Nice.
Yep.
I actually just ordered a book about another leader within my tribe. I forget his name. I'll have to pull it up real quick. He was on some sellout shit, but I like to learn about the sellouts because it really helps me understand why the tribal dynamics are the way that they are today. But I wonder if I can log into my Amazon real quick and pull the title of this book that I have. being sent to me right now. I just ordered a new one. And actually, not only did I just order this new one, but I just had a book shipped to me that I ordered. You guys should definitely check out this book as well. How to Hide an Empire. Most people don't know that the United States is just as imperialistic as any other faction. We maintain an image of, oh, we're just the US and like we don't go and take people's lands and da da. No, the US holds a lot of territories. We hold a lot of territories overseas. Tyrone, I don't know what happened to the screen. Oh, there you go. There you go. Did your audio cut out, Tyrone? I don't know if you're talking.
Yeah, I went on tea time.
Okay. Oh, yes. This book is about George Washington Grayson. I'm actually related to the Graysons. I have a very interesting family tree, to say the least. So yeah, I just ordered a book called George Washington Grayson and the Creek Nation from 1843 to 1920. So I'm sure that's going to be a good read. But yeah, thanks for sharing, Tyrone. Thanks for sharing. You know what? I did have some people on YouTube trying to call in. My bad. We got sidetracked with our resident Pangoofy.
Oh, let them up because we got all day to unpack this.
Amora says we have Scots in our lineage too. Yeah, most people don't know that the Scots and the Scottish Irish, they moved into the Southeast as early as the 1500s, and they were intermixing with indigenous tribes to get preferential trade agreements, to get in positions of power, et cetera, et cetera. Scottish Highlanders actually come from a similar clan-based society as Southeastern tribes, so that's why they were able to come in and trade with us and intermix. Yeah. But yeah, that's so sad. I just wish that the Pangoofies can finally get some good representation so we can have like a good debate, a good conversation. But most of you guys just no conversation skills. We also got Rebecca Smith up here. Rebecca, hey, where are you calling in from and what's on your mind?
I'm calling from Arizona.
All right, lay it on us. What's on your mind?
I just wanted to see if you would discuss the difference between freemen and freed men.
Yeah, sure. When we talk about free man with no D, free man, that typically refers to American Indians, most of the time melanated, indistinguishable from Black Americans, right? But these are American Indians who descend from converted Indians. What a converted Indian is tribes in the Southeast and the East Coast since as early as the 1600s. Some of them formed leagues with certain European factions. Some of them had trade agreements. Some of them even got spiritually converted by certain Christian denominations, whether it was Protestants or the Mormons or this branch or that branch. So you actually do have this class of people that sprout up. They also get classified as free people of color. You'll see a lot of free people of color in the Carolinas all throughout the peak of slavery. And you have to ask yourself, where do all these free people of color come from? Where do all these free men come from if we're supposed to believe that all Black folks descend from West Africans? I mean, what cruise ship was bringing free Africans over here in the 1600s to 17? I mean, it wasn't happening, right? So free man is typically someone who was never enslaved. They are free. They're maintaining their freedom. And typically they're able to do that within the white society because they've been assimilated or spiritually converted. But those freemen have to watch out because there are slave catchers from the South who will still come up to the North and try to capture a free man and sell him at the slave auction block. That's what that movie 12 Years a Slave was all about. If there's ever a slave movie you should watch, that should be one to watch. Why? Because it's actually based on a true story. Solomon Northup, he was actually an indigenous man from the East Coast. I think it might have been Nantucket or something, or Narragansett, but he was a free man, a violinist, and he got captured by some slave traders. And next thing you know, he's in the South on a plantation, a slave for about 12 years. And of course, since it's a slavery movie, they still pull the psyops. And the way that they pull the psyops in the movie is they have an African from the UK playing Solomon Northup. They have an African from the UK playing a lot of the slaves on the plantation. So I'm going to let you know, they still try to do that fuck shit by casting Africans from Europe as us. But that's a good movie to watch because it's actually based on the autobiography of Solomon Northup. Or instead of watching the movie, you should go read his actual autobiography. I mean, the book's always better than the movie anyways, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and Lupita Nyong'o, she's a Kenyan from Mexico.
Yep.
Thank you.
Now, well, I'm not done. I only answered 1/3 of your question. Now, when we talk about the freedmen, there's two different types of freedmen. There's freedmen of U.S. territory. There's freedmen of tribal territory. What's the difference between U.S. territory and tribal territory? Geographically, not much. We might be in Louisiana. There's a certain land, a certain area of Louisiana where the land's owned by a local indigenous tribe. So that's tribal territory. Rest of the land's owned by the U.S. government. That's U.S. territory, right? So you've got freedmen in U.S. territory and you got freedmen in tribal territory. And those are two separate people. After Indian removal, the freedmen that walk the Trail of Tears, that make their way to Arkansas, Oklahoma, those folks are indigenous Black Americans who are reclassified by the European-led Dawes Commission. They literally had white European federal agents coming out and interviewing our ancestors and picking and choosing who gets to be listed on the Dawes roll, who's not part of the Dawes roll. So whenever you see these $5 Indians, these Siberian Huskies on the res, talking about you Black folks aren't really Indians, that's why you don't have tribal citizenship, they don't talk about how the white man created their tribal rolls. That's why $5 Indians were able to infiltrate. Did any of you guys ever stop to ask yourself, well, hey, if these tribes are in charge of the rolls that document their tribal members, how do white people pay $5 to get placed on the tribe? Because the tribe didn't have nothing to do with the Dawes roll. The Dawes roll is named after Henry Dawes. Who is Henry Dawes? A European senator from Massachusetts. They sent a white boy from Massachusetts out to Oklahoma to pick and choose who's an Indian and who's not an Indian no more. And they came out with the Dawes roll, the Dawes Commission, decades after they pushed them to Oklahoma. Why? Because after they went to Oklahoma and they're doing their own thing on their wild Indian territory, some white folks snuck over and said, damn, their land actually has a lot of oil on it. So how do we break up their tribes? How do we break up their land? How do we take their land that we just gave them? We just made them sign treaties to give up their land in the Southeast to go to Oklahoma. And now we found out they got oil. So now we got to take the land we just gave them. How do we do that? They come up with something called the Curtis Act. The Curtis Act dissolved tribal governments. Federal government comes through and says, hey, there's a Curtis Act. That means y'all don't run your own affairs. We run you now. Then shortly thereafter comes the Dawes Commission, where they come through and interview people and get to decide, are you a freedman? Are you a by blood? Are you half-breed? Are you 1/4? Are you 1/8? Right? So when you hear about the freedmen in tribal territory, when you hear about the Creek Freedmen court case, these are Black indigenous people who've been racially reclassified as freedmen by European government agents so that their land would be taken away because their land had oil. The richest, youngest Black girl in the world in the early 1900s was who? Sarah Rector. They got a movie coming about her. Movie's coming out in a few months, right? Sarah Rector wasn't just a Black girl. She was an oil magnate. Richest colored girl in the world. Why was she the richest? Because her family's land had oil beneath it. Where was her family's land? In Oklahoma. Wait a minute. How does Black girl get a land in Oklahoma? Because she was a member of my tribe, the Muskogee Creek Nation, and that was her land allotment she got from the Dawes Commission. So now we're talking about the freedmen of tribal territory. Now there's one more type of freedman though. Remember, there's two types. The other type of freedman is freedmen in U.S. territory. The freedmen who didn't walk, the Black indigenous people who didn't walk the Trail of Tears, they got enslaved in place, they got reclassified in place, and when emancipation comes around, they now all get reclassified as freedmen. And a big difference between the freedmen of tribal territory, the freedmen in Oklahoma, versus the freedmen in the Southeast, is those freedmen in the Southeast were promised 40 acres and a mule. They never got it. The freedmen in Oklahoma were promised 160 acres of land per person. Some of them got it. A lot of them got shorted and only got 40 acres. So we could say, just to keep it simple, the freedmen of Indian territory got their 40 acres, whereas the freedmen of the Southeast didn't get nothing. They got forced right back onto the plantation through Reconstruction. The Union forced them right back to the same slave master, to the same plantation, but now there's a Freedmen's Bureau that's going to write a labor contract for you. And the labor contract says you got to work from sunup to sundown, 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. You have to call this person massa, just like you used to. And your pay is food, water, shelter, and you're supposed to get a portion of the crop come harvest time. So they call this sharecropping. But when harvest time comes and you go to get your portions of the crop, the slave master pulls out a book and says, no, you owe me money for rent and you got sick a few times, you owe me money for medicine. Oh, those tools you've been using, you've been renting those tools. You owe me money on them tools. Matter of fact, you owe me money. So now you're a wage slave working for free on the same land you were a slave for previously before the Civil War. So this is the freedmen of the Southeast. But wait, those freedmen of the Southeast have the luxury of choice, or at least the illusion of choice, because there's a choice. You can go back to that plantation, work for a slave master again, or you can go up north and work in a factory, being a slave for 13-hour shifts, working in a factory, dealing with Jim Crow, segregation, the Klan, all kinds of shit, right? And guess what? You have to choose one or the other. You have to choose to work on the plantation in the South, or you have to choose to work in the industrial plantation in the North, because if you don't choose either, the union has something called vagrancy laws, where if they see you just shooting the shit, hanging around town, playing the harmonica, drinking some brew, well, they'll say that you're idle and you're being a vagrant. So now they arrest you, put you in a chain gang, and now you're working in chains on a plantation in the field somewhere. So that's the freedmen of the Southeast. Whereas the freedmen that walked the Trail of Tears, went to Oklahoma, they're fighting a different fight. A lot of tribes in the 70s and the 80s started to kick out those that were classified as freedmen from the tribe. That's what my tribe did in 1979. We got some Eurasians, some $5 Indians that got in positions of power, and they changed our tribal constitution in the middle of the night to say that if you want to be a member of the tribe from here on out, it's not good enough to just have an ancestor on the dolls roll. From now on, you have to have an ancestor on the dolls roll, and that ancestor has to have a blood quantum. And here's the thing. When they reclassified your ancestor as a freedman, they put them on a separate freedman roll and left their blood quantum blank. So you see how this was all a setup to disenfranchise freedmen in Indian territory and disenfranchise freedmen in the Southeast. And both of these demographics of freedmen are really indigenous Americans that are reclassified. So hopefully that answers your question.
Mike.
Also
does.
to add
Thank
on
you.
to it, you forgot about the Guian Miller rolls and the Henderson rolls, because that also comes into play with people that stayed within the Southeast as well.
Oh yeah, no, either those that stayed in the Southeast and those that stayed in the East Coast, there were some tribal roles for them as well, and they put a lot of caveats on those. One of the caveats were, if you want to identify as Indian on government documents, you have to relocate to a reservation. So imagine how many of our ancestors didn't want to be a part of the reservation system. So because of that, they get lumped into new demographics of colored, Negro, mulatto, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But yep, you have any more questions, Rebecca?
No, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And if you ever want more detailed info, or want to learn how to trace your family genealogy, just check out my website, nativeblackancestry.com. You can even have access to my calendar and pick a day and time to connect with me one-on-one.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, thanks for calling in. And you know what? It looks like we've got another caller. Let me see who this is. Better not be Alexander again. Hey, Alexander, if you're such a Pangoofy, why do you call yourself Alexander? Shouldn't you do like all the other Pangoofies in the 80s and the 90s and change your name to Lamumba, Albay, Amen Ra, or some shit? Like, I'm confused. His name is Alexander?
He originally called himself Joe the Educator.
Hello. So, I'm not trying to be offensive or anything, but
Well, time out, Lucifer. You're starting off a little bit strong. I start off with, where are you calling in from? And what's on your mind? Go ahead. You have the floor.
oh, sorry. I didn't mean to be offensive or rude or anything. So my question is, why do you think Black Americans are indigenous to?
Ma'am, I asked you a question. You have to answer my question before you ask your question. Maybe you didn't hear my question, so I'll say it again. There was two parts. Where are you calling in from? What's on your mind? Go ahead, Lucifer.
Where I'm calling from? What do you mean? Sorry, I just don't understand.
You don't know what I mean when I say, where are you calling in from?
Oh, I mean, not really. I'm sorry. Can you please clarify that?
Your country, state, or where you're born?
Tyrone.
Oh yeah, I was born in Canada.
It's a one-on-one, Tyrone. It's a one-on-one. You said you're born in Canada. So you're born in Canada by way of what country?
I was born in Alberta, like in St. Albert, which is like in Canada.
I don't think you understand my question, so I'll ask it differently. What country are your family originally from?
Oh, from Somalia.
Okay, so your family's from Somalia, and I think if you're born in Canada, correct me if I'm wrong, does that make you a first or a second generation?
I think it makes me like a second generation.
I
I
think you're
mean, a
right.
lot of
No, I think you're right. I spoke to somebody else from Ghana, and they were calling in from Canada, and he told me he was a first generation because he was born in Ghana and moved to Canada. I think so. Yeah, if you're born in Canada, I think you're a second generation migrant. But okay, you answered the question where you're calling in from. Now let us know what's on your mind.
Oh, so my mine is that I just want to understand, like, so my mind is that, like, why do you think Black Americans are indigenous to America? I just want to understand, that's all.
I think that because that's our history, at least my history personally. I'm not sure if this is your first time tuning into my channel, but you're talking to someone who's a member of a federally recognized tribe. So it's not like I'm just up here saying, I'm an Indian, I'm an Indian. The United States government does not classify me as a Black person. They do not classify me as a Black American. My documents say American Indian. Just like you have a Canadian citizenship paperwork, just like you have some kind of Canadian ID. Hold on, where's my wallet? I think I can find it, guys. Here's my wallet. I'm sure you've never seen what an American Indian tribal ID looks like. So let me just show you it real quick. This is what a tribal citizenship card for an indigenous tribe of North America looks like. So again,
Oh,
when you
that's really
start off
cool.
asking, yeah, it's pretty cool indeed. So when you start off by asking, why do I think that Black folks are indigenous? It's because we are. I am. My ancestors are. My ancestors are documented. There's books written about them. My great grandfather was a town king and the chief justice of the Muskogee Creek Nation. So it's kind of like if I came to you one day and said, hey, why do you think that your people are from Somalia? And you'd be like, well, because my family was born in Somalia. Well, but that doesn't mean they're from Somalia. No, like my grandparents, my great, like all my whole lineage comes from Somalia. Oh, well, is there a way you can prove it? Yeah, my family has Somalian citizenship. Same thing.
Oh, I see.
But you have the floor. So if you have any other questions, go for it.
Yeah, so that does make sense. Yeah, even though I was born in Canada, right? But my roots came from Somalia, and my family came, like, through generations in Somalia. So that makes sense.
Exactly. And the difference is between you and a Black American is that your recent lineage comes from another country, another continent. You come from migrants. Black Americans do not come from migrants. We talk to a lot of people across this African diaspora of yours that are so confused, that are so surprised to learn that Black Americans are not migrants. We do not descend from migrants. We can trace our genealogy in the Americas to the 1600s. And I only say to the 1600s because that's around the time when they first started taking census records.
I see. Like, there's a lot of Somalians, like, in Minnesota in America, and
Yep.
they, like, my people, like, they came on the year 1914 in America, so it was about like 111 years. So, like, what do you think about that?
I don't really think anything about it. What you're asking what I think about your people migrating from Somalia to America in the early 1900s?
Yeah, like, it was 1914, so yeah.
I think it's unfortunate. I think
I
it's
see.
very, very unfortunate.
Because of the war, yeah.
No, not because of the war. I think it's unfortunate for other reasons.
Oh, why?
Well, I'm not trying to pick on you or anything, but because I'm specifically speaking to you right now, and you're specifically from Somalia, we'll give the Somalia example. But this is something that we can attribute to all African migrants for the most part. For one, have you ever heard of brain drain?
Oh no, I didn't heard about that.
You've never heard the term brain drain?
No.
Okay, so what the term brain drain refers to is when the smart, the boule, the bourgeoisie, the upper class, the educated. When the educated demographic within a country, a struggling country, a third world nation, a second world nation, when you're upper echelon, when you're elite, when you're most academically profound demographic moves, relocates to a Western nation, that's called a brain drain. Because imagine all these smart, and again, I know Africa's a continent, it's not a, it's not a country, but just for lack of better terms, all these brilliant Africans, all these smart Africans that are doctors and lawyers and engineers, and they're so successful. I'm not talking about the poor Africans living in the shantytown. I'm talking about the good to do Africans living in the McMansions with the electric fences and the armed guards and the butler. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, right? It's so unfortunate that that demographic chooses to flee their ancestral homeland, whether because of a war or because of a famine or because of a drought, or because it's so unfortunate when they choose to flee, because it really further messes up your country. How does the country of Somalia ever get fixed if the smartest, most educated, most well-to-do, most financially sound Somalians, whenever they get money, they choose to move to Canada, or they move to America, or they move to the UK, right?
Yeah, it
And
is
that's
a
not
little
just
bit
Somalia.
sad.
And that's not just Somalia. That's across the continent of Africa. It's kind of a thing. When Africans get some money and they reach a certain upper echelon, the thing to do is go be educated in Europe or in Canada and live somewhere else, and maybe visit their African country they're from once or twice a year.
Yeah, it is a little bit sad. There's a lot of problems in Somalia, like drought, war, poverty and things like that. So it just makes, I mean, it's sad, but it just makes sense on why they want to go to other countries where it's more.
Respectfully, to you it may make sense because you descend from, for lack of better terms, I'm not trying to be mean to you, you descend from fleers, in the sense that since your parents made the decision to leave your ancestral homeland and come to Canada, that kind of psyche has been ingrained in you. You said that you're born and raised in Canada, right?
Yeah, I was born
So
and
you're
raised in
born and
Canada.
raised with the preconceived notion that Somalia was just so bad, there was just so much going on. Your parents had no choice but to flee to Canada. But again, I'm sorry, sometimes I speak harshly. That is absolute bullshit. Everybody has a choice. I don't care how bad the Somali war got. I don't care how bad the famine got. Everybody has a choice. And you choose to stay and fight and make things better, or flee to another country that has better living conditions for you. And here's the difference. Here's why you don't get a lot of empathy, a whole lot of sympathy from Native Black Americans. Because our ancestors went through what the Somalians went through times 1,000. You're talking about a Somali civil war, Somali famine. We were invaded by several European nations simultaneously for 500 plus years, and we're still occupied, lynched, massacred, detribalized, reclassified, ancestors victimized through a process known as paper genocide. And guess what? We never chose to flee America and go move to Liberia, or go move to Canada, or go move to Africa. We don't do that. We stay and we fight. The most we'll do is we'll migrate from the southeast a few states over to the East Coast. We might go from the East Coast, cross a few states and go out west, but to flee the entire, forget the country, to flee the entire continent of Africa. Your parents couldn't find a single country in Africa. There's 52 countries in Africa, right? They couldn't find a single country in Africa that they wanted to raise you in. They thought that Canada was the best bet. That's a bit selfish.
Yeah,
Did it give them a better hold on? Did it give your parents a better standard of living? Yes. Did it give you better chances? Maybe. Yes. But what about your Somalis that are still back there dying and starving and struggling?
Yeah, they're having a hard time down there. But like my people, and we're here in Canada for like 55 years, so it's not that long. But so like Black Americans were like here in America for like 1,000 years, like in the 1600s.
Since the beginning of time, the first earliest Europeans that document their journeys to the Americas, Since 1492 and onward, they always write about Black indigenous tribes, woolly hair, Negro phenotype. Sometimes they even said that we look similar to Africans. They said that a lot of us are light brown, dark brown, but some are even as dark as Ethiopians when you get to South America. Matter of fact, the Spanish conquistadors called our indigenous ancestors Negros de Terras. That translates to blacks from this land. You know what they called the African slaves when they would bring African slaves over? They called them Negros de Guinea, blacks of Africa. So they knew since day one, there's black people in the Americas, Negros de Terras, and there's blacks in Africa, Negros de Guinea. But they're two different people, two different cultures.
Oh, I see. So you
So when you
guys
say
are.
how long, so when you say how long have Black Americans been in America? Since the beginning of time, since the flood waters rescinded, since the earth rose out of the oceans, since forever, forever, ever, forever, ever. More specifically, everybody else in the Americas but us are immigrants or descend from immigrants. Mexicans, Latin Americans, a lot of people in the Caribbean, they descend from Spanish Europeans or African slaves shipped over. There's a lot of Native Americans in Canada, the Southwestern Plains, Alaska. Those folks are migrants from China, Siberia, Russia. So the only class that is not a migrant in the Americas are those that have been reclassified as Black, African American, Negro, mulatto, freedman, etc.
I definitely see that. So my opinion is like, what do you think about the other Native Americans saying that they were here first, like the lighter ones?
You're talking about the ones that look Asian.
Well,
The ones that look like they have a white parent and an Asian parent. The ones that look like they're a mixed Asian European, right? Slanty eyes. If I pulled up a photo of them next to a Mongolian, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. Those people, right?
I mean, I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything. Like, they do look a little bit Asian though, but they still look slightly different.
And science even says they migrated across the Bering Strait from Asia. Let me break this down for you. The reason why you see these Asiatic natives talking a whole bunch of shit about Native Black Americans is because they are paid to by the United States government. The United States government brokered an agreement with them centuries ago. This is what the agreement was. I'm paraphrasing though. The agreement was this: we will give you billions of dollars annually. We'll give you a patch of land for you to go do whatever you want on. But this is what you have to do. You have to adopt European customs. You have to adopt a spirit of white supremacy, and you have to maintain the notion that anybody with dark skin comes from Africa. That's why they're online so vehemently opposed to us. That's why they're online so hell-bent on convincing everybody that these black folks are crazy, even though we have documents, oral traditions, archaeology, anthropology, and everything in between.
I see that. Like, I love learning new things.
Yeah, it's good to learn new things. Yeah.
And
also, furthermore, furthermore, the reason why you see this vitriol from these Asiatic and really what you should refer to them as are plains natives. We call them plains natives because these are the people that live in the plains of North America, the Arizona desert, the New Mexico desert, the Utah desert, right? Where nobody wants to live. They live in the plains. These are the ones in the movies living in teepees and roaming with the buffalo and scalping people when they're trying to go in the covered wagon to the West Coast and stuff. These are the Plains Indians. And you have to understand that when these Plains Indians migrated across the Bering Strait from Asia, when they came down, they were in conflict with us. The Mayan, the Aztec, the Mississippian mound builders, the Eastern Woodland people. We had wars with these invaders. We had armed conflicts with these invaders. It's written in our hieroglyphs on the pyramids in South America. We had long-standing conflicts with them. Even in more recent years, some of our ancestors were Buffalo soldiers working for the U.S. government, forcing some of these Plains natives onto the reservations they live on today. So they've got a long-standing beef with the people you call Black Americans. But unless you know that history, you'll just be like, damn, how come they're like, why don't they just leave Black people? Like, if Black people say they're Indian or when identified, like, how does that affect them? Well, now you see why.
Yeah, like, I want to understand both, but I also want to understand the truth and be more educated, you know? Yeah, because I was asking questions too about the other people, like the ones that you said that look like they came from, like another
And
country.
correct me
And I
if
don't
I'm
want to sound
wrong.
racist
Oh,
or
wait, hold on,
anything.
hold on. Correct me if I'm wrong. Have you called into some of their shows and had conversations with them?
Oh yeah, but again, I'm not
Okay,
trying
no,
to
no, wait,
use
hold on.
this.
That's all I wanted to know. So when you call into them and you have conversations with them, I would assume, I'm just assuming here, they probably can't give you the same kind of oral history you hear me giving, right?
Mm, I'm not sure. I think I should need to research this, but that's yeah, like
No.
I'm not really
In general,
sure.
I'm saying in general. Imagine the last Native American Plains Indian person show you called into. When they talk about their tribe, when they talk about their history, are they getting as in depth with it as I am? Are they able to go back to the 1400s and talk treaties and dates and stuff, or are they just saying, "Oh no, all black people come from Africa"?
They're not really saying about the treaties or anything like that or in depth.
So then you
And
have to
they
ask yourself. You have to ask yourself then, if these are the real Native Americans, why don't they have that knowledge? Why do you never hear any of them talk about pyramids or mounds? Because our ancestors were building the pyramids that are all across the Americas, not them. Most people don't even know that we have pyramids in the Americas. Not only do we have pyramids, we have way more pyramids than are in Africa. Africa has 300 pyramids. Do you know how many are located in the Americas?
I'm not sure, but I think a few lots, yeah.
Over 1,000.
Oh wow.
Not only does Africa have 300 and we have over 1,000, but our pyramids are older than the ones in Egypt. The largest pyramid in the world. Do you know where the largest pyramid in the world is located?
I'm not sure, but maybe like south, kind of like in the Americas.
Yeah, Mesoamerica, Cholula, located in Puebla, Mexico. But guess what they did? They covered it with dirt, the Spanish conquistadors, that is, and they put a Catholic church on top of it. And they lied for the longest time and said, this isn't a pyramid, this isn't a mound, this is just a hill with a Catholic church on top. But people started to excavate, and it turns out it's a ginormous pyramid. The largest pyramid in the world by volume is not located anywhere near Africa.
So I'm just curious, like, what's your opinion on Joya? Like, I think he's okay, but what's your opinion on him?
On who?
On Joya, like the
the
native guy?
Josiah guy?
Yeah.
He's one of these natives on the reservation strung out on fentanyl, being paid to promote vitriol that Black Americans come from Africa and we're pretendians and Wabos. That's it. I mean, just look at him. He looks real indigenous, right? With all those neck tattoos and the missing teeth. I mean, you have to ask yourself, if you're born and raised on a reservation and you're native and your whole family's native, then why is your reservation so poor? Why do you guys live in such squalor? Why are they so down bad? I mean, if they're the true indigenous people, shouldn't they be like planting and building stuff and like maintaining their culture? But no, you see somebody who looks indistinguishable from a tweaker named Josiah. He gets online and says, "Oh, Black people aren't in it," and you have to realize people like that do it because they have no content, because they're poor. They want to make money. You can make a lot of money on social media, but the only way you make money on social media is by driving traffic to your page. And the easy way for Pan-Africans, Africans, and these plain natives to drive traffic to themselves, because they're not interesting. Nobody wants to just watch them or talk to them by themselves, right? The only way they can drive traffic is by centering their content on us. Are Black people really Indians? Are Black people Wabos? Or you see how it always has to have Black people in it for them to get some traction. If he's really a Native American, why doesn't he just make a bunch of TikTok videos about, hey guys, this is my tribe and this is our culture and this is a historical event that happened with my tribe and here's a treaty that... No, his whole content is predicated on Black Americans, right?
I mean, most of his content is kind of like about Black Britannians, but I think maybe Britannians in general, you know? But I
No,
think
no,
he's
his
okay.
content
I
is
just want to
his
see both
no, no,
sides.
no, 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 no. His content is specifically aimed at Black Americans and trying to ascribe the label of pretendian to us. When if you go on Google right now and Google pretendian, the term pretendian has never referred to Black Americans. Never. Go on Google right now, look up pretendian, and you won't see a single Black American. You'll see Asians, you'll see Italians, you'll see white people. The term pretendian was created for Europeans and other migrants that were cosplaying as American Indians.
And where they try to go to with this black pretendian thing, they try to reach to Jim Beckford or Long Lance or either Martha Redbone, which these are not even close to what a pretendian is. Real pretendian is a YT person, and we can pick up books about pretendians and they don't mention black people whatsoever. There's one by Philip J. Deloria that describes what a pretendian is, from the YT hippies during the hippie movement, people that illegally cheated tribal enrollment, paid $5.
Hold on real quick, Tyrone. Hold on real quick, Tyrone. I want to finish out my conversation with Lucifer, and then I got somebody who's been waiting backstage, so I'm gonna bring them up in a minute. But Lucifer, do you have any other questions for us?
Oh yeah. Also, so you think that like I'm not trying to be rude or anything. So like you said that your people, the black people were here in America as like the real indigenous people were here for that at the end of time or like at the beginning of time, right?
I said since the beginning of time, since time immemorial.
So do you think that you
So
may
which question?
be so my question is, do you think you might be related to like a little bit like of African ancestry, but like you're still like the indigenous people? Because
some of us, no, some of us descend from Black indigenous people that have zero admixture, and some of us descend from a mix of Black indigenous people and African migrants. Why is there a mix? Because we accepted runaway African slaves into our tribes, into our militaries. Look up the Seminole Wars. It doesn't matter if you were a Black Indian or if you were an African. If you were on an American plantation, we would try to free you, liberate you, and let you join our tribe. And we married with some of them and had kids with some of them. But here's the trick they play. Nowadays, they try to say the only way a Black Indian exists is if it's a mixture of an African and a native. But that's not the case. It's much more nuanced than that. There are Black indigenous people like myself who have zero African admixture. Some of us even have European admixture, way far more than we would ever have African admixture. But there are those of us with zero African admixture at all. And there are few of us that do have some African admixture as well. But that doesn't separate our indigenous roots.
I see. Yeah. So I think
And
that
when you actually get into hold on. And when you actually get into the transatlantic slave trade, you'll realize barely any African slaves were ever shipped to North America. The vast majority of African slaves were shipped to Brazil. The second largest destination for African slaves was the Caribbean islands. Less than 4% of all African slaves trafficked during the transatlantic slave trade went to North America, and that includes Canada and the British 13 colonies. Some historians say that the figure is around 90,000 Africans being shipped to North America. Some theorize it could be as much as 388,000 Africans shipped to North America. Well, check this out. I'm going to play devil's advocate. Let's say 400,000 Africans are shipped to North America. Well, guess what? There's 45 million Black Americans present day. It's logistically impossible to have a sample population of 300,000, 400,000 balloon to over 45 million. It doesn't matter if it's been 300 years, 600 years, 900 years. That's logistically impossible, especially when slaves had a high mortality rate and a low birth rate. So you have to ask yourself, where did all these slaves come from if they didn't come from Africa? So then when you compare that to the firsthand accounts of Spanish conquistadors who say that they saw negros de terras, blacks of this land, then you realize it's quite obvious. It's been in front of your face all along. Lucifer, if you're a slave trader, if you're a European slave trader, and your only goal is to sell slaves to plantations, what is going to make you the most money? Going all the way to the other side of the world, to Africa, and then bringing them all the way over here to the Americas? or capturing some local indigenous people that are displaced or held captive and selling them to plantations. Look it up. Long before there was an African transatlantic slave trade, there was an Indian slave trade. They were taking indigenous people from the East Coast, shipping them to South America. From South America, shipping them to the Southeast. From the Southeast, shipping them to Europe, to parts of Africa. But most people don't know this because they don't teach it in school.
I see. Again, I think Julia is, he's just cool, but I just want to say your opinion of him. That's all. And I just like to learn more and be respectful.
You as an African migrant thinks Josiah is cool, and that's your opinion, but your opinion isn't really valid in this sense. Your opinion
I
on
see
whether or not
that.
he's cool has no weight to the conversation when you are not of our culture. That's like an Asian calling into me saying, hey, I think Josiah is cool. Okay, and? But if you ask any indigenous Black American what they think of Josiah, oh yeah, nah, different story indeed.
I see. I just see him cool as a person, but there's some things that
I don't think
really
you know
agree
him
with
as a
on.
person. I don't think you've ever talked to him. I don't think you've ever met him. I think you just watch some of his TikToks and you think that you know somebody. I mean, I don't know how you could ever say you think somebody's cool as a person because you watch some videos they made online. That's strange.
Oh no, I don't know him personally, of course not, but I mean, I did talk to him for a little bit online. So
if
that's
you
it.
don't know him personally, then why are you on my show trying to give him a shout out?
Oh no, it's not that. I just think that he's just, he's just another person.
Ma'am, nobody mentioned Josiah. You brought him up. Why did you bring him up?
Because
Because you know he
I-
talks about Black Indians. That's why.
Yeah. So I just
And you're
wanna
talking
see
to a
his
Black
opinion.
Indian that says that he's an agent provocateur disrespecting our lineage, and you still have the nerve to proclaim, oh, well, I get what you're saying, Mike, but I think he's a cool guy. Nobody asked you for your opinion.
I see that, and I respect your opinion.
Do you have any other questions, or should I get on to the person who's been waiting backstage?
I think I should leave because I don't want to keep that person waiting. But thank you for being on. Thank you for letting me be on the show.
Yeah, of course. Don't hesitate to click that link or click the button
I'm sorry
at
if
any
I was
point in
being
time.
disrespectful.
Oh, no. You're just a little off topic. Just a little off topic. That's all. But no, don't hesitate to call in the future. It was nice talking to you. The next person that we have calling up, and hold on, Tyrone, I'm going to circle back to you, I promise. The next person we have coming up is Lavisho, and then we're going to bring up Forsaken. Lavisho, let us know where you're calling in from and what's on your mind.
Hi, I'm Lavisha Celestine. I'm actually in New York, and I'm a Caribbean expat. I actually work with someone who has the same ideology as you. I have so many questions because this is just a recent phenomenon.
Whoa, hold on. If you have so many questions, I got to warn you. I've got several hours of content I have to get ready for. I've got more people waiting backstage, so we're going to have to do your questions in a rapid fashion. So just start firing away.
Absolutely. So I'm just going to ask 3 questions then. I have a whole lot, but I'm going to just summarize it in 3.
Yep.
So you said that you believe that you are Native American. And
False.
You also... Okay, you did not say you were Native American?
I did not say I believe I am Native American. I said I am an American Indian. The government classifies me as an American Indian, and I'm a member of a federally recognized tribe. That's what I said.
Right, that's beautiful. And you also know that you have no genetic relative with African people whatsoever.
No African admixture. If I did a DNA test right now, it would not link me to any blood relatives in Africa.
Have you done one?
No.
Okay. So what prevented you from doing one?
Because for one, I have no purpose to.
Okay.
Fun fact, when I was applying for tribal citizenship, my tribe didn't say, hey, take a DNA test to see if you're indigenous to America. No government and no American Indian tribe goes by DNA testing because it is a pseudoscience for proving ethnicity. DNA testing can tell you if you touched a girl. DNA testing can tell you who's your mama and your daddy and your cousins, but a DNA test cannot tell you you're 5% Nigerian, 20% Ghanaian, 30% Ethiopian, 10% European. That's why if you look in the fine print of those tests, it says entertainment purposes only, educated guesses are used.
Okay. So what is your tribe?
The
Just,
Muskogee Creek Nation.
okay, do you speak the language that they speak?
Yes.
Okay. Are you fluent?
No.
Can you write it down?
Yes.
Okay. So if you, well,
And I thought you
from
said
my-
you had 3 questions. Wait, you went over the limits. So let me just pause you and ask you some questions now.
Okay, I love
You
that.
said that you're a Caribbean expat, right?
Yes.
Is that synonymous with Caribbean migrant?
Yes, because, well, it's not. I just think that in the United States, people.
What's the difference between an expat and a migrant?
An expat to me is someone who actually move from one country to another, not necessarily for a better life, but just because they want to move to another country for a different experience. That's what I moved to America for. The politicized calling of someone an immigrant pretty much devalues the reason why they come to America. Not everyone who comes to America is running from something. I didn't run from the Caribbean from any political persecution, any danger. I moved to New York because I like New York. I do. So yes.
Okay, hold on. Time. I understand if you have a little bit of insecurities based on the whole migrant or immigrant word, because there's been a lot of bashing migrants in America, but you do understand that expat and immigrant are the same exact thing. An expat is someone who voluntarily lives outside of their native country. An immigrant is someone who moves permanently to a foreign country. That's the same thing.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. That is the same thing. But the reason why I'm using expat.
No. You weren't trying to tell me it's the same thing. You were trying to convince us that there's some kind of difference. You were trying to make it seem like an expat is someone who voluntarily moves, but they're not under pressure, while immigrants move because they're running from something, and that's not the case.
No,
if someone's an immigrant, it doesn't by default mean that they're running from something. It just means they're migrating to a foreign country.
That's beautiful. That the reason why I said expat against immigrants is because right now there's a political attack on the word immigrant. When you want to attack someone,
sir, that is your personal opinion.
Okay,
so it is not a fact. It is not a fact that there is a political attack on the term immigrants. It is a fact that there is a political attack on illegal immigrants.
That's
but
beautiful.
No, there's not a political attack on immigrants. What are you talking about?
Okay, so when you do look at to answer your question, when you do look at someone who is African for some reason African, who is an immigrant to America, and they're African.
Hold on. Stop. I really don't want to get too caught up on the immigration thing. It was just one out of several questions I had for you.
Okay.
So you're an immigrant from the Caribbean. Which country in the Caribbean?
I'm from St. Lucia.
St. Lucia. Is that kind of by St. Barnabas? It's like past Puerto Rico?
No, that is it's next to the French Antilles.
Next to the French Antilles. Okay. So far, I've only been to Puerto Rico, so I definitely have to do some more exploring. I've got a map of the West Indies right here, but obviously I haven't studied it a whole lot. So my next question is, do you know what country in Africa your people descend from?
Well, it's an admixture, really. To go back to what you said about the Brazilian slave trade.
Hold on. I told you that we have to be concise. So the answer is no. You don't know what country in Africa your people came from.
No, I am of African descent. That is absolutely sure.
Sir. If the answer is no, if the answer is no, just say no, and then I'll get on to the next question. That's it.
Absolutely.
So the answer is no, right?
Okay.
So you don't know what country in Africa your people came from. Do you know the language that your African ancestors spoke?
Well, since we were all trafficked, there's no distinct language, but the language.
Okay, so the answer
can I elaborate
is no.
on the answer?
No. I told you
we cannot have
I've got a lot to
then.
do. So I'm putting you on mute. I told you I've got a lot to do. I got people backstage. We need to be quick. Do you know the country in Africa your people came from? The answer is no. Do you know the African language that your people spoke? The answer is no. So I guess I don't even have to ask you if you speak the African language. That answer is also going to be no. I guess I don't have to ask you if you write your ancient African language. So the question is going to be no. So now here's my next question for you, sir. Why would you ask me what tribe I'm a part of, if I speak the language, if I write the language, if you don't know what tribe your ancestors were a part of, don't know the language, and don't write or speak the language? Cat, got your tongue? All right, well, I guess we'll hear from Tyrone. I think he's thinking about that.
Yeah,
maybe he's coming up with a good answer for us.
People on in an interrogation seat like he the Indian police or something. But yeah, he's still a Black American. It's just that he has a specific tribe and ethnicity is what you don't understand. But you're sitting up here trying to apply this African descent thing on the people, and you can't even claim a specific West Central African tribe like a Fulani.
Wait, hold on, Tyrone, hold on. He's claiming he's muted. Sir, you're not muted. I'm looking at your microphone. Your microphone has no slash through it. I don't know why you think you're muted. Maybe you're dealing with some technical difficulties. So what I'll do is I'm going to drop you and just request to join, and I'll bring you right back. You're not muted at all. I asked you a question. I was waiting for an answer. My question was, if you don't know the African country your people came from, if you don't know the tribe that your people came from in Africa, if you don't know the language, if you don't speak the language, if you don't write the language, why would you ask these things of me? Go ahead, Lavisho.
Yes, I was muted. You actually muted me and then had to unmute me, but okay. I do speak an African language called Creole. It's a new invention from the slave trade.
So then why, when I asked you the language of your ancestors, you didn't say Creole?
And that's not even the African language.
I think he got caught with his pants down, so now he's trying to backpedal and be like, no, I do speak a language, it's Creole. Did Creole originate in Africa? No. All right. Oh, and you know what it is, Lavisho? For some reason, when I mute you and then I try to unmute you, it now says that your microphone is turned off and only you're able to unmute yourself. So try to unmute yourself, and then maybe it should work.
Is that better?
There you go. Now we can hear you. So again, my
go.
question, hopefully we can get an answer this time. Why would you ask those questions of me if you don't know the culture of your ancestors?
Because the question you asked me is a loaded one. There's a massive amount of phenomena that happen during the
time out. I asked you the same exact questions you asked me verbatim. If the questions I asked you were loaded questions, then you started off by asking me loaded questions. Are we living in Bizarro land? Is this a Twilight Zone? Guys, did I not literally ask him the same exact questions he asked me?
Yes, you did.
But when I flip it on him and put him to the task of answering to his culture, I'm asking him a loaded question, guys. Look how that works. All right, go ahead, unmute yourself, sir. Go ahead.
So you said that I didn't ask you a loaded question, but the positions we're having conversations on is that I understand what series or situations got me to be in the Caribbean. You said that you are, Native American.
We don't care what situation got you out of the Caribbean to New York. We didn't ask you what situation brought you from the Caribbean to New York. I asked you, why would you ask me about my tribe, about my language, if I can speak it, if I can write it? If you don't know your tribe, you don't know your language, you can't speak it, you can't write it. And instead of giving us an answer to that question, you try to say that I was asking you a loaded question. We're not going to move away from that, I hope you know. We're not going to let you start splaining away and get caught up in semantics. You got to answer. Why would you ask me those questions? And when I ask you the same thing, there's an issue? Go ahead and mute yourself. Explain this. This makes no sense to us.
So first of all, I was not pertaining to me moving from the Caribbean to New York. I'm speaking about the phenomenon of my African descendants in the Caribbean. answering a Creole question. But if I can answer instead of being muted, I could always answer your question because it's I have to explain my answer. It's not a yes or no. We will
I
never
didn't
move
ask you a
forward.
yes or no question.
Well, you did say yes or no.
No. Earlier, when I asked you yes or no questions, like do you speak the language? Do you write the language? Those are yes or no questions that get a yes or no answer. But my last question I asked you was not a yes or no question.
Okay,
My
so
question was, why would you ask me those questions if you don't know your tribe, you don't know your culture, you don't know your language?
Because of curiosity. I was not comparing you to anything. I asked you if you knew you were a Native American, do you speak the language? And are you, have any good knowledge of your tribe? That's all I asked you. And it was not pertaining to anything. I was just curious because I did say I was asking a question. You refused the question to answer me, where it's a little bit.
Sir, this is the issue. You keep going on and on and on when I told you we got to keep it concise. I said, why did you ask me those questions? Your answer is because I was curious. That's it. That's all. We don't need 3 more sentences, 4, 5, 6 more sentences to explain the rationale behind your curiosity. You asked me those questions because you were curious. And you know what's funny? I asked you those same questions because I was curious. So now my next question to you is why, when I ask you those same exact questions verbatim, did you reply with, that's a loaded question? Why do you think that that's a loaded question? Go ahead, unmute yourself.
There we go. So it is a loaded question because asking me if I speak my native language, can I ask you another question? Can I ask a question? How do you think?
No, you can't ask me another question while you're still answering my question. Jesus Christ. So your answer to my question is, and again, guys, if there's anybody new tuning in, I asked him, why, when I ask you the same thing you asked me, is it a loaded question all of a sudden? And his answer is, because it's a loaded question. Thank you. That's your answer. We don't need no more explaining. You said it's a loaded question because it's a loaded question. So now here's my next question for you. When you asked me those same questions, was it a loaded question then? Now that's a yes or no question. Go ahead, unmute yourself. Give us a yes or no on that one.
No, it was not a loaded question because you already had an answer.
Oh, thank you. So you've told me all I need to know. Respectfully, you're not worth conversing with. You're not worth my time. You don't have enough cultural prowess to have this kind of discussion. You ask me a question, and it's not a loaded question. I ask you the same exact question, but now it's a loaded question. Sir, you're nonsensical. There's no reason. There's no rationale. We can't do nothing with this. We can't have a conversation with this. You can't pass go. Sorry, I don't know what to tell you. I'm going to give the audience the luxury of choice. Put a 0 in the chat if you guys don't want to hear from him anymore and we should get on to the next one. Put a 1 in the chat if you want me to just let him unmute himself and just speak uninterrupted for some time and let's just hear what he has to say. I see a lot of 0s in the chat. Someone says they're curious. A lot of people are saying next. How about my folks on YouTube? I'm seeing 0s in the YouTube chat. Hey, just be, are you still catching the echo on the YouTube? Let me know. I'm seeing 0s. Polo says, this man said Creole is an African language. Yeah. Lisa's curious too. Well, you know what? I'm going to cater to the minority. I'm going to do the unthinkable and I'm going to cater to the minority. I'm going to go ahead and put a timer on my phone for 3 minutes and we're going to let our resident Caribbean migrant speak for 3 minutes straight, uninterrupted, so he can get everything he needs to get off his chest. Hold on just a moment. Let me get this timer. Set this baby to 3 minutes flat. All right, sir, the time starts when you unmute yourself and we hear the first word come out your mouth. You may begin.
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity. Yes, I'm a Caribbean expat because Americans have pretty much politicized the word immigrant. So I like saying expat. It's the same thing, but whatever. To answer your question, yes, Creole is an African European admixture language. It's what we use to communicate with each other throughout the Caribbean and from Brazil. And also into Louisiana. Creole is a Louisiana language. It's an African language. I asked you the question, if you know that if you are Native American, because you obviously look like you're African. You sure do. If you go to anywhere in the United States, you look like you're African.
Guys, I muted him again because now it's going to get interesting. Now it's going to get exciting. I love this. I love that he took it here. Okay. So now I've got a question for you, sir. Since Africa is a continent, it's not a country. Name the country in Africa that has people that look just like me. Name it. You're going to get placed on mute again if something comes out of your mouth that is not a name of an African nation. Go ahead, unmute yourself.
Fulani.
Fulani. Thank
Yes.
you. How do you spell Fulani?
Fulni. Fulani.
Thank you. Now I'm going to put you on mute. Please stay on mute. I'm live streaming on YouTube. I'm live streaming on TikTok. I don't even know how I could properly do this. I don't even know how to go about doing this. You know what? I think I found a way. I'm going to go ahead and share one of my monitors. Let me add it as a source on TikTok. He says, I look like a Fulani African, guys. We're going to pull up some photos of Fulani Africans, and you see me on camera. You see exactly what I look like. So this is going to be an easy comparison to make. Very, very easy comparison.
He said Fulani, right? Those are mixed people. They're Arab looking.
No, it's cool. It's cool. Hey, forget about them being mixed. We're going to start with the visual representation. Okay, that's what we're going to start with. Now, first of all, which monitor is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that might be my third monitor technically. Is it the third monitor? No, it's not the third monitor. Okay, maybe it's the second monitor.
See below. You can see the
hold on. Yeah, it's the wrong. Okay, here's the right monitor. Here's the right monitor. Okay, so let me bring this over to the side now. Now you guys can see my screen. Now, my folks on YouTube, let me change it so that the folks on YouTube can also see my screen. Let me move this to the side. Let's type in Fulani men. Perfect. All right, we got an image of a Fulani man right here. Now, guys, go ahead and vote. Go ahead and cast your vote, guys. This is a Fulani man wearing a traditional hat. Put a 0 in the chat if you think the Fulani man looks nothing like me. And put a 1 in the chat if you think I look just like the Fulani man. And guys, don't worry. We're not going to cherry pick one photo of a Fulani person. We're going to bring up several different photos of Fulani men. I'm seeing nothing but 0. Somebody says he looks like the dude from Good Times. I'm seeing a whole bunch of 0s on YouTube, a whole bunch of 0s on TikTok. Okay. All right. So nobody says that I look like this Fulani man. Well, let's find another photo of a Fulani man, shall we? I got another photo of a Fulani man. Here we go. Guys, do I look like this Fulani man? Hold on, let me zoom in on him. We got another Fulani. This one got face tats and a turban and shit. Do I look like this Fulani man, guys?
Heck no.
Men lie, women lie, pictures don't. Hey. If I look like the Fulani man, then there's nothing wrong with it. Tell me. Say, yeah, Mike, you look like. Yeah, Mike, you got similar phenotype, the nose, the skin, the freckles. I mean, yeah. But so far, I can't find a Fulani man I look like. Hold on, sir. Hold on, baby. Before you ask another question, I'm going to bring up another Fulani man. Since you said I look like a Fulani man, okay? Here's another image of a Fulani man. And yeah, they might really be mixed with Muslim or something because I'm seeing a lot of them in turbans. I don't know. Maybe that's just a sand African thing. But hold on. All of these people in the slideshow are Fulani. Here's another Fulani man right here. Getty Images. Guys, 0 in the chats if I don't look like this Fulani man, and 1 in the chat if I look just like this Fulani man. I'm seeing 0s again. I'm seeing 0s. Okay. Here. Just for shits and giggles, let's go to a 4th Fulani man, okay? I'm going to pull up a 4th Fulani man. We've got yet another Fulani man, and you guys have to let me know. 0s in the chat if I don't look like him, and 1s in the chat if I do look like him. What do you guys think? Do I look like a Fulani man or no?
Nope, but I know who you actually look like.
Hey, don't give away any secrets yet. I'm gonna keep that as a little secret card in my pocket to pull out when I need to. But so far, the Caribbean man. Hey, I'm not so surprised that you failed at this test because you're not even like from Africa, Playboy. You're like descendant from African slaves sold by their fellow Africans, shipped to the Caribbean. Then you moved to New York. I mean, I guess you don't even know what a Fulani man looks like if you thought that I looked like one. But go ahead and unmute yourself and let's hear what you have to say. You said something about Native Americans or something, right?
Sure. Show me an African, sorry, not African, pardon me, a black Native American. Yeah, show me some other people from. I'm curious. That's what I'm asking. Show me someone who is a black Native American.
You're child. Well, it's a timeout.
You're looking.
No, not
You're
you.
stuttering. Well, it's a timeout. You're stuttering. You're all over the place. Are you challenging me to show you a black Native American? Is that the challenge? Yes or no? Go ahead and unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Yes.
Is that the challenge? Okay, yes,
because-
that's the challenge. Well, first of all, no offense, you're ignorant because you're looking at a black Native American. But I think what you really meant is, can you show me like an older photo from like decades ago or something, or like an older photo of a black man that's indigenous, that's a native, right? Okay, I'll do that for you. Pulled up the Fulanis that you said I look like. You failed miserably. Don't look like a Fulani. Now you're challenging me to show you a photo of a black indigenous person? Easy. Here's my grandfather, Thomas Jefferson Adams Harjo, Chief Justice of the Muskogee Creek Nation, Tribal King of the Muskogee Creek Nation. Now what? Now what? You can't show me a Fulani that I look like. You thought you were cooking. You said, well, Mike, show us a black indigenous man that you look like. How about my grandfather, dumbass? Did I pass your test? Oh, wait, but then there's more. You're probably thinking to yourself, well, no, that's just a black man. That's not a Native American black man. Well, let's go to the Dolls roll. You probably don't know what a Dolls roll is, huh? When you go to the Dolls roll and type in my ancestor's roll number 2145, his name is Thomas Jefferson Adams Harjo, and clearly he's listed right here as a full-blooded Creek by blood.
Yeah, Mary, bring your goofy ass up here too.
So not only did I show you a picture of a black Indian, I also verified that he's 100% Creek by blood. Now what do you have to say? Oh, it's getting awkward, huh, guys? It's getting real. I think I hear awkward silence on the line. Go ahead, unmute yourself, Caribbean boy.
Hi, let's not name call. We're being very respectful here.
If you thought that me calling you a Caribbean boy was name calling, you're in for a rude awakening. You should get out the kitchen already if you think that was name calling.
That's not what I was talking about. You called me ignorant.
Go ahead.
When I was curious.
Oh, that wasn't me calling you a name. That was a clever observation. Go ahead.
An astute observation at that.
Right.
Put my pinky out when I drink, okay? That was an astute observation.
Curiosity and not ignorance. So, thank you. So you said that this person is related to you and is a supposed black American who has been here for thousands of years before the beginning of time, supposedly. So you said that they were there from the beginning of time. So when supposedly, because I don't know if you believe that majority of the people on Earth came from Africa, the cradle of life. So you think that if
it's the cradle of life, why did you go to New York instead of Africa? Because if it's the cradle of life, why didn't you want to go live in the cradle of life?
Because New York is actually in close proximity to my country. It's cheaper.
Hey, I don't care what's closer and cheaper. If I think something is the cradle of life, I want to go there. I want to be on the soil. I want to breathe the air. The cradle of life, you say? Wow. I've never heard of Africa being the cradle of life. Do tell more. Unmute yourself. Do tell more.
I agree. You've never heard it before. But with that ideology, why don't you think Europeans go back to Europe? They know exactly where they come from. Why don't they leave?
So he tried to challenge me on knowing my customs, my tribe, my language. I turned it around on him. He claimed it was a loaded question. He then further cements his disrespect by claiming I look identical to a Fulani African. I bring up several photos of Fulani Africans. He fails. Then he further goes deeper with the disrespect, trying to challenge me to show a photo of a Black Indigenous person. I show my grandfather and also the Dog's Roll, where he's listed as a full-blooded Creek by blood. Now this imbecile is trying to rant to me about Europeans? Yeah, you're not worth my time anymore, respectfully. Jesus, I got to get ready for a live stream in a minute, y'all. I got research I'm trying to do. Hey, I got a good clip out of him. Don't worry, guys. I'll clip this up. I'll put it on YouTube. Go to YouTube, Mike TV. Ignorant Caribbean man claims Black Indians look like Fulani Africans. It'll be a great video, guys.
Mary need to bring her YT ass up here because she want that work.
Mary had a little lamb. Mary had a little lamb. I'm gonna give you an invite, Mary. Don't be shy.
This Mary right here, she talking mess, saying, "Oh, y'all don't look Indian." Come on, come get this word.
And Mary probably looks like never mind. I'm not gonna go. I want to be respectful. Mary, call in. If Mary doesn't call in, then I'll just go no holds barred. I just sent her an invite, so if Mary's not on the stage in the next couple minutes, it's because she's afraid. Mary's the type of white girl to cross to the other side of the street when she sees a Black Indian coming her way. Oh Lord, we do have somebody called Elaine calling in. I think Elaine might be the last guest because I really do have to start preparing for a whole bunch of live streams tonight. But Elaine, yeah, your Wi-Fi is not Wi-Fi, Elaine. Try to request to join again. But yeah, that was wild. And this isn't the first time I've got this. 2 weeks ago, I had some African in Canada trying to tell me that I look like a Ghanaian. I did the same thing. We pulled up several photos of Ghanaian men. I don't look nothing like them. So it's interesting how they try to pass off this bullshit of you guys look exactly like Africans. But as soon as we ask them, oh, what country in Africa has Africans that look like us? You see how they fold under pressure. Yeah, that was embarrassing. What little island was he from? Wait, what little island did he say? St. Lucia, St. Barnabas?
Yes, sir. St. Lucia. Or something like
he's doing his whole island a disservice. Doing his whole island a disservice.
He claimed Creole to be the African language.
This is pathetic, y'all. This is absolutely pathetic. Ugh. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stay on here for 10 more minutes. You guys have 10 minutes. If there's anybody else that wants to challenge me for a debate, anybody that wants to ask questions about genealogy, Black American indigeneity, you got 10 more minutes to call in before I end these live streams and get on to preparing these broadcasts that I'll be doing on TikTok and YouTube later on this evening. But yeah, last chance to call in, guys. I don't know. I think he thought he was really cooking. He thought that I was not going to be able to bring up a photo of a Black Indigenous man. Is that what he thought?
He thought you wouldn't say a language.
I got a whole digital archive with over 600 documents of Black Indigenous people. What the fuck you mean? I just uploaded 44 documents to my website today of Black Indigenous people. What the fuck you mean? Anybody wants to check it out, go to nativeblackancestry.com. Look at my digital archive. Click on the tab that says Indigenous Americans. And what are you going to find? A whole bunch of Black Indians, huh?
Yep. Oh, and speaking of which, since he up there in New York, you'll find a whole bunch of Black Indians, such as the Shinnecock, such as the Narragansetts and all them. They have festivals.
Go ask your local Indigenous tribe in New York about Black Indians, and they'll tell you all about them. Dummy.
You can go to Louisiana and find Black Indians. That's basically their culture in New Orleans.
Come on. Oh, speaking of Louisiana, here's the Choctaws of Amet, Louisiana. Black Indians, right?
Like you can go to Virginia, see the Cherokee, the Iroquois in Powhatan or Accomax. You can go to South Carolina and see the Gullah Geechee. They're basically Creek extensions. They're Seminole.
Hold on, Tyrone. I got somebody else trying to call in. Todd, let people know where you're calling in from. What's on your mind?
I came up a little while ago.
Oh yeah, I know. I remember you.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm from Bama, and I was wanting to know what tribes was around there. See, I just Googled it. It said your tribe, Muscogee Creek. I'm from the Northeast. I'm Northeast Alabama, and I recently went to a cave, and it had, artifacts and all this, but the painting, the painting.
No. Stop it. I'm putting you on mute for me. I'm putting you on mute. Please don't tell me you went to DeSoto Caverns. Please don't tell me the cave in Alabama you're talking about is DeSoto Caverns.
No. It's called Russell Cave.
Thank God. If anybody doesn't know, never go to DeSoto Caverns. I actually think DeSoto Caverns might be in Georgia, not Alabama. But basically, it's an underground cave network that's an indigenous burial ground that they converted into an amusement park, and they do Christian-themed laser light shows. I'm serious.
I live in Bama. I did not know that.
That's like an hour from us.
That's an hour from me.
DeSoto Caverns is in Talladega County, Alabama. These motherfuckers took our cavern, our underground cave network burial site, called it DeSoto Caverns, and do Christian laser shows.
That's disrespectful.
Wow. Look at this shit. This is it.
Wow.
DeSoto Caverns.
Oh, another one would be Moundville.
Look at this.
Yeah,
They got a fucking photo of Conquistador DeSoto,
No,
like he's a
Moundville.
cool guy or something.
What the heck?
Oh my
DeSoto.
That's
God.
hella disrespectful.
Look at this shit. DeSoto.
You celebrating a colonizer
Oh my God.
on a
And
sacred
it's literally a
ground.
cemetery. It's an underground cemetery, and they turned it into a tourist attraction. They got a little kiddie pool for the kids. They got go-karts. The white kids are panning for gold, doing laser light show, Christmas themed. Look at this shit. Here's the laser show in the caves.
Wow. Oh
That's
my
like
God.
me trying to run an amusement park in a European graveyard.
That is so disrespectful. It's crazy.
Beyond disrespect.
I did not
But
know.
yeah.
I did not know this at all, bro. I swear I did.
Look at this shit. And then some of the local pretendians be out there dressing up like Indians, putting on a little dog and pony show. Got a statue of DeSoto and everything. But I'm sorry, I got a little triggered when you said cavern in Alabama. Okay, clear. Mike got triggered as fuck. Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
I was
You're
like,
good.
better
You're
not
okay,
be.
bro.
You got the chopper.
Yeah, no.
The chopper that's out there representing the culture.
Yeah, no, I would just want to know, since I live in Northeast Alabama. I'm trying to figure out if it was Cherokee here, but it keeps saying on Google. I hate the Google.
So you got to realize. So you got to realize that all of these artificial boundaries weren't here before. So when you speak of an area like Georgia or Alabama, there were dozens of tribes that inhabited the area. So the reason why people have mentioned my tribe, the Creek, is because our tribal territory before the Trail of Tears was all of Florida, all of Alabama, all of Georgia. But it wasn't just us. Our tribe back then wasn't really a tribe. It was a confederacy of dozens of tribes. So yeah, there's many different tribes in those areas. Facts.
Because it says mixed between Creek and Cherokee.
Yeah, no, I feel it. But yeah, the Creek were definitely in that area. The Cherokee, as you can see, are in the blue. Some of them are coming down to Alabama, Georgia a little bit. But yeah.
So that means
right there.
that's
Those
my
are all the
descendants.
same ethnic group.
Hold on, Tyrone.
Just
Hold on, Tyrone. Hold on, Tyrone. One-on-one. Huntad?
So that would be my descendants from that area, or I'm trying to just figure out.
The way that you would figure it out is by tracing your genealogy. So, you would have to build out a family tree, taking your maternal line and paternal line to the 1700s to figure out, were my people in Florida, were my people in Carolina, were my people in Georgia, et cetera, et cetera.
It said right here. Because I did the Ancestry or whatever. I talked to my uncle. He started tearing up, and I said, "What was we?" Because he's seen the sense. He teared up, and he has the same complexion as you, but I'm darker than him. You get what I'm saying? And he teared up, and he said, "We're Cherokee Indian." I said, "Are you sure?" He said, "I know I'm for sure because that was my great grandpa. He knew that."
Yeah, facts. Yeah. So then if you want to take it from just oral tradition to finding documentation, then that's where you got to do the genealogy research. That's why if you go to my website, I let people have access to my calendar where they can schedule a day and time to connect with me one-on-one. And I teach people the 3-step process that me and my family follow to trace our heritage and get tribal citizenship.
Okay, then I traced back a little bit more, and like I said, I found
great uncle, but it's the race said American Indian, but it didn't say which. It just said American Indian. That's it. And I can't believe I found it on the census. I can't believe that. I never thought I would be able to find it, but it's found.
Oh yeah. So now it's all about just taking that research back further. Yeah. Keep looking for those records.
Okay, man. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, most of brother. Don't hesitate to click that link in the future. Nice talking to you.
Gotcha. All right.
And Tyrone, go ahead and give us some closing remarks before I wrap up.
Just make sure y'all do y'all genealogy, get the record straight. Like, don't give in some of these naysayers that's getting on this platform talking about and questioning your indigenous heritage. Just do it yourself. It's just up to you to find out who your relatives were. Don't just rely on just Ancestry or 23andMe spit kit. There's documents out there. There's probate records. There's land deeds and all that. And I yield the mic.
Well, hey, thanks for calling in, brother. It's always nice chopping it up with you. And yeah, shout out to everybody tuning in on TikTok, everybody tuning in on YouTube as well. I appreciate you all. This was a very interesting discussion, to say the least. And yeah, if any of you have yet to trace your family genealogy, definitely check out my website, nativebblackancestry.com.
Many know about slavery, but few discuss paper genocide. We did not all come from Africa, and most of us have Aboriginal roots that were stripped away due to reclassification and miseducation. As a Native Black American and a member of the Muskogee Creek Nation, I understand the importance of tracing your lineage. If you want to learn how to trace your genealogy and apply for tribal citizenship, go to nativebblackancestry.com to schedule a consultation.
They don't want you to remember this. You not no slave, you indigenous. Fuck how they painted them Indians. You went to war with the French and the British men. Quite frankly, you was kings, Merovingians. They took the women and men, made them prisoners, raised up the children to worship their images, set up a lab to the genes and they mixed them, and this shit get way deeper than your pigment.